25 laps of AutoWorks figure 8 racing action. That's 50 times through the intersection. Already trouble up in turn 3. Parkway Village, Kentucky's Tony Anderson gets turned sideways along with Timmy Blackwell. Keith Whalen also involved along with Doug Miller. Then over to turn 4. They're really trading some sheet metal as they come down and complete lap number 1, ladies and gentlemen. Well, how'd you like that? That was just the first lap. Coming around, completing lap number 2, and it's car number 33, Ronnie Cook, the early leader. Buddy Vertrees and car number 41 runs at second. Going third, it's Lee Mann in the X25, followed by Timmy Blackwell in the number 12. And then here comes Danny Skaggs in the X6, pulling up and taking over a top 5 running order as the field moves into turns 3 and 4. Down through the intersection, and it's Buddy Vertrees in car number 41 looking for his second A feature event of the 1991 racing season. The number 33 of Ronnie Cook runs at second. He's quickly challenged by Lee Mann in the X25 and the number X12 of Timmy Blackwell as they move into turns 3 and 4. Out of turn 4 in a great side-by-side battle back at second place, and it looks like Timmy Blackwell will take the spot away. Lee Mann in car number X25 goes at third. Going fourth now, it's car number 06, Harold Murphy, as they move down through the intersection, and then Ronnie Cook still posted in the top 5. Danny Skaggs goes 6th on the field. At 7th, it's Buck Skaggs. 8th will be Chuck Barnes, 9th to Danny Blackwell, and rounding out the top 10, it's Raymond Johnson. Down through the intersection, some racing really going on for the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th place positions as they swing over to turn 2. Actually, this is about a 6-car battle for 5th place. Danny Skaggs in that Outer Limits Racing Chevrolet continues to hold down the number 5 spot as Keith Whalen nearly picks him off one of the leaders there at the intersection. Coming around and have just right now working lap 7, Keith Whalen in the X64. Again, meeting up with the leaders at that intersection. Keith's going to have to make a decision here in another lap or two. It's Buddy Vertrees and the number 41 out front. Yellow flag will come out and tighten this field up after 7 laps of competition. It's car number 41, the Martin Landscaping Racing Chevrolet of Buddy Vertrees, who is the leader after 7 laps of competition. Timmy Blackwell of Edgewood, Kentucky runs at second. Lee Mann in the number 25 goes third. On the leaderboard, it's the number 6 of Danny Skaggs posted at the number 4 spot. And Danny Blackwell, who started way out back, is way up to position number 6 on the field. At the top, Landscaping Racing Chevrolet of Buddy Vertrees out of Pleasure Ridge Park, Kentucky, nails down the number 1 spot. Tim Blackwell out of Edgewood, Kentucky, and his Argent Bright Oil Company Racing Monte Carlo. And then it's the X25, the Amen Auto Parts Racing Monte Carlo of Lee Mann, who runs at third. Danny Skaggs in the X6 and the Outer Limits Racing Chevrolet, battling with his brother there in the X2. That's Buck Skaggs as they shuffle back into turns 1 and 2. Heading over to turn number 2 now, it's still the Mean Green Machine out front, and then about 8 car lengths back to Timmy Blackwell, who runs solidly in the number 2 spot. He's got a screaming yellow zonker behind him, though, the X25 of Lee Mann, and then a bunch of traffic directly behind Mann. Mann's going to lose a spot here at the intersection as they're going to go 3 wide now into turns 1 and 2. Raymond Johnson, Buck Skaggs, and Lee Mann all trading some sheet metal. There is Germantown, Kentucky's John Basham in the thick of things. Okolona, Kentucky's Chuck Barnes, along with Edgewood, Kentucky's Danny Blackwell. The current point leader, Tony Conway, in the X54, and Roger Vincent in the thick of things as well. So some heavy traffic with some heavy race drivers there at that intersection. Moving back into turns 1 and 2. Pat Pierce made an unscheduled pit stop. He's back in racing action. Buddy Vertrees cuts it close at the intersection with the 06 of Harold Murphy, and the X81 now stopping at the crossover as well. Timmy Blackwell in front of Rick Hine at the intersection. Keep an eye on those two guys. After 11 laps of competition and approaching the halfway mark, And Rick Hine and Timmy Blackwell get close. Ooh, another decision time for Pat Pierce and Keith Whalen at the intersection. Looks like Bobby Johnson in the 00 and Ronnie Cook have stopped for the crossover traffic as well. At the halfway point of this event, and Lee Mann is sitting crossways at the intersection. He gets his car back into the lineup just over the halfway mark of this event. Here's Buddy Vertrees in car number 41, the leader by about 15 car lengths over Timmy Blackwell in the X12. Going third, it's the X6 of Danny Skaggs, and then Raymond Johnson and Danny Blackwell are also in the top 5. And look out, another close call at the intersection. Keith Whalen and Calvin Crane nearly get collided with at the intersection. Man, oh man. Coming around, lap 14 being completed, and Buddy Vertree finds a hole at the intersection in the traffic. Car number X12, Timmy Blackwell, still maintains his second place position. Lee Mann goes third. At fourth, Raymond Johnson, and then it's the 77 of Danny Blackwell. Second, third, fourth, and fifth place all racing together, and it looks like Lee Mann is going to lose a spot to two of the real veterans in the figure 8 division, Raymond Johnson and Danny Blackwell, as they race side by side out of turn 4. They're down through the intersection. Blackwell has the better track position going into turns 1 and 2, and Danny Blackwell takes over the number 3 spot. His younger brother Timmy runs at second, and it's Buddy Vertrees over in turn number 4 now, who continues to lead after 15 laps of racing action, coming up now on less than 10 to go. 16 in the books. Buddy Vertrees, the leader, out of turn 2. And look at this parking lot at the intersection. And Vertrees goes off course there momentarily. And Keith Whalen and Calvin Crane nearly collide at the intersection again. Out of turn 4, and it's Vertrees at the intersection, an opening in the traffic, and he just cruises on through. Timmy Blackwell in the X12 runs at second, and he's going to be engaged in a tight battle with his older brother Danny. Danny, as a matter of fact, is on the inside portion of the Speedway, taking over the number 2 spot from Timmy right at this moment as they cross down through the intersection. They're back into turns 3 and 4. Another parking lot at the intersection. That's Lee Mann, and it looks like Harold Murphy stopped. Timmy Blackwell tagging up momentarily with Raymond Johnson, then they shake free. 7 laps to go in the contest. And it looks like Raymond Johnson has spun up in the first turn and has lost about 2 positions here. Whoa, and another close call at the intersection, and that Keith Whalen's been putting on a show all evening. Yellow flag coming out. Looks like the yellow is coming out. After 19 laps of competition, the yellow flag coming out, and I'm sure it's for some debris as well as a collision at the intersection. Just about set to go now. 19 laps completed. Six more laps will make up the distance, and the green flag is back out. Back into turns 1 and 2, and it's Buddy Vertrees who gains about 2 car lengths over Danny Blackwell. Raymond Johnson in car number 0 looks like he is up to the 3rd place spot now as they move into turns 3 and 4. Timmy Blackwell in car number 12 goes at 4th, and then rounding out the top 5 unofficially Roger Vincent in the X16. So those are the top 5 cars. Tony Conway in the X54 also approaching the top 5, along with the X6 of Danny Skaggs. Leaders are at the intersection, and it's a 2-car draft moving into turns 3 and 4. Danny Blackwell sizing up the inside of Buddy Vertrees. He'll tuck right back in line as they move over to turn 4. Out of turn number 4, and 2 cars sitting at the intersection. The leaders will make their way around the outside. Danny Blackwell tries a bonsai move to the inside, decides not. He'll tuck right back in line. Immediately, they open themselves up about a 6 to 7 car length interval over the 3rd place running Raymond Johnson, the number 12 of Timmy Blackwell, and Roger Vincent. Out of turn 4 and down through the intersection, Tony Anderson will let out of the gas and let the leaders pass on by. Into turns 1 and 2 now. 22 laps completed and 3 away from a finish. And again, the top 2 cars move out of turn 2 and down through the intersection. It's Buddy Vertrees, then Danny Blackwell, the number 0 of Raymond Johnson, Timmy Blackwell, and the X16 of Roger Vincent. Another stop car at the intersection. Buddy Vertrees finds a hole at the intersection. and moves down into turns 1 and 2. 23 completed and 2 away from a finish. Harold Murphy and Doug Miller sitting stopped at the intersection, and our leaders make their way past. And it looks like there might be a problem. Let's see on the 40, and it looks as though the red flag came out. The red flag came out, and that means the scoring looks like it'll revert back a lap, and it looks like it's for a tire and wheel off an automobile up in the first and second turn. So that's the reason for the red flag, and under the Speedway rules, we revert back 1 lap to that lap's scoring. So now 23 laps have been completed. The red flag was brought out. Car number 0, Raymond Johnson, going third. At fourth, it's the number 12 of Timmy Blackwell. And then rounding out the top 5 now, Tony the Iceman Conway. So that's the way they look. 23 laps completed. The green flag will be coming out this time around. Out of turn 4. It looks like a beautiful restart, and the green flag is out. Back into turns 1 and 2. And Danny Blackwell trying to work the outside of Buddy Vertrees as they work out of turn 2. Blackwell drops back in line and runs at second. Raymond goes third. At fourth, it's the number 12 of Timmy Blackwell. And then a great side-by-side battle for fifth between Tony Conway and Buck Skaggs as they work out of turn 4. White flag coming out this time around. Less than 1 lap to go, and they're back into turns 1 and 2. Danny Blackwell looked to the inside of Buddy Vertrees momentarily, decided not, tucks right back in line as they move down into turns 3 and 4. Roger Vincent in the X16, I don't believe will go a lap down as they move into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Out of turn 4 and coming to the checkered flag, a clear intersection for Buddy Vertrees, and he'll take the checkered. Across the line at second, it's the number 77 of Danny Blackwell. Raymond Johnson finishes up at third. Timmy Blackwell at fourth. And Tony Conway in the 54 is credited with a fifth.
Family Fun Center in the area. A huge